Good evening, everyone. It's time to welcome you to Camppatton Family Compound, and it's the Friday night on the Homestead show here. Tonight's topic is fall is in sight. Plan your fall garden, or like some people already start planting your fall garden. So how's everybody doing out there? All righty. Yeah. I'm probably going to take a little bit for people to get in here because I got stuck over watching the grandkids, and about 20 minutes to 8 o'clock Mountain Time here. 20 minutes before I started, I had to rush back across the street here and set this up. So anyways, I had some of it set up. I just forgot to go ahead and do this stuff this morning. And so right now, let's see. Only got one other commenter in here. Got Failing Clan Wolf, and he's in here. And if any, but it says there's more people watching. So if you're watching, please, at least, you don't want to make a lot of comments. At least say lurking, because that way, YouTube, if people don't give a thumbs up, and if they don't make a comment, they're not counting anymore. Doing some little legal move is, or they think it's a spam, or we think it's a bot just trying to give you fake watch hours. So if you could, everybody, hit the thumbs up and say something, say hi, whatever it is, just say hi. Say something about every 15-20 minutes of the show here, and that way your watch time will be counted, and things will go a lot better on that. All right, so planning your fall garden. Fall officially doesn't start for another 20 days, but some areas of the country, fall is getting ready to set in fairly quickly, and especially in the northern parts of the country. Of course, those froze. So those down in the southern part have probably another month or two. I know my wife is still in California. She would be planning things out and getting ready to start planting stuff in October, but she's so busy at work she's not getting much of a garden planted this year at all. All right, excuse me. So let's back up over here. Boom, boom. And so let's see if this works right. Yeah. So some of the things you consider planting, for fall or cold weather crops: radishes, beets, lettuces, cabbages, spinach, broccoli, beans, peas. I just had carrots. I gotta start planting some carrots out here in the next couple weeks to get them to winter over. Carrots like to winter over get a sweeter taste to them, and they can also do some of them to go ahead and go to seed then after they've wintered over, and you'll get a lot of seeds from them. All right, so it's those are some of the things here, but let me get back here now. So I had not much of a slideshow tonight. Now some of the stuff I've been planting over the last, I guess it's been about 10 days now. I've been planting some stuff to test what I've been doing out there with the IBC totes and the soil mix compost and stuff I've been putting in. I will have a video coming out here in the next day or two on how things are going, and some of the stuff is going out pretty well. So those that have been following and watching what I've been doing with the strawberries and the short IBC totes. Well, the one, I don't know what happened. I think it was the aircraft that were flying over from the crop dusting or spraying the fields. I think they were leaking out because I had not just the strawberries die. Some of the trees, limbs on the trees would, were all of a sudden from being green area, were just So I think they sprayed over my property. The same thing with the property next door in the flight path. There was a lot of stuff that died there, a lot of trees that turned brown. So, but we can't prove that the guy was leaking. So, anyways, so on the one had all the strawberries die in it. The other ones had about 5 or 6 of the strawberry plants die in it. But then the other ones are all of a sudden just went absolutely bonkers and are sending out runners everywhere. So hopefully they'll have enough runners to replenish the whole thing of those that passed on. But in the one where everything died, my wife said, well, check it out. Plant some stuff that you know grows around here easily and see what happens. So I planted a bunch of the Grand Rapids lettuce in there, and they're all coming up doing just fine. They're going just fine. I planted some of her my wife's rainbow chard, and it's doing fine. I also planted some sunflowers I picked up, short stuff sunflowers, and the 6 I planted in there are doing great. And then I plant in a couple of the other IBC totes, I planted, I started chitting the seeds to make sure I had plenty of them that would germinate, and they did. And so I had a bunch to go in the other IBC totes on the other side of the yard, and I got four of them coming up over there. Then I for laughs and giggles. Okay, it's not green on a green screen doesn't work. So hang on a second here. Settings. Let me go ahead and take for a second. These from Baker's Creek as well. Joe at Garden State Gardener sent me 2 packages of these, and they are. I think I put out about 36 seeds to see how they were going, and they all sprouted. Or and the thing had a little thing coming out, and I went and planted them all to make, because I wasn't going to plant ones that weren't sprouting. And some got planted a little bit deeper than some came up really quick. Some are just now coming up, and so over the next day or two, they should all be up. And so I got 36 plants coming up of the peas. So I'm going to be this at all for me, and we're going to see how those do. And then this weekend I'm going to plant a bunch of carrots in one of the totes. Lay out rake it all in and plant some carrots and see how they do for it. That way I'll have some carrots over winter. So let's see here. Grammy Karen, hey, how's it going? And so some of the stuff I'm doing right now, because everything is such up in the air right now around here, I'm actually doing a lot more planting for the fall than I did for the spring. And so what else? Oh, dang, I forgot to grab the other envelope. I got some other stuff that is a cold weather crop that I'm planted out there, and I would say probably 90% germination on those, and they're coming up, and it's sort of it's a dark green leafy plant. So I just can't remember the name of it. My wife said, that'd be a good one to plant. So, hey, I'm keeping her happy. I'm doing that. Hey, Glenn, how's it going? And so I've got those planted as well. And those are already up and, starting to spread. You got multiple leaves on it. So, and that's within 10 days of starting to see germination. So I'm really happy with the speed of which those are growing as well. So, but get some water here. Almost empty. So this is kind of my There. I hate it when the camera goes. It mutes the system. I got to manually unmute it. Okay, so that was a problem with the video camera. Not the video camera, but with the video card reading the camera, and that's what that freeze was all about. All right. Okay. So I've planted a bunch of stuff more for the fall than I did any other time yet here. And I didn't think I was going to be ready, but my wife sent me across the street some of the old IBC totes that I'd set up over there that somehow I left over, told my daughter to go ahead and use them. She said, well, bring them back over. Hey, Kaylin, how's it going? So I've been spending the last several days, 4 or 5 days, hauling over bucket loads of the soil I had in those planter beds over there and planting them over here. So I got all 22 of the IBC totes that are making the retaining wall for the garden. Just about ready. Probably I need to get a couple more bucket loads of compost to spread out on 4 of them, and those are ready to plant. So I'll see what I can get planted here. Even if it's gets up to the first snow and stuff, and it freezes, I'll just harvest it, give it to my daughter to feed the rabbits. That way it's feeding something. And that way I know, all right, these go and these will last until this time here. Now we also have some of the snow covers or frost covers to put over some of the IBC totes. So I'm going to test those out as well to see how much longer I can get into, because fall here has snow near the latter half of it. And so see how long I can go before even that doesn't protect the plants. Hey, Duncan 1900 Homestead. So yeah, so those are just coming in. So I'm planting the short stuff sunflowers and the Wando peas. The green screen's wiping out, but that's the name of it, from Baker's Creek. And I got some rainbow chard that my wife had sent me up here, the seeds. Planted those. Those are doing good. The Grand Rapids lettuce is doing good. So we're going to see how this progress. This is my first fall garden at either here or in California. So we're going to see what happens here. And this is just an experiment. I'm going to be happy just to get greens up and stuff up enough to have something to give to the rabbits or the chickens across the street. So, guys, what are you guys planning on doing for your fall garden? I know Glenn was talking about, like in Florida, it's almost flip-flop because the summers are so hot down there. Some of the crops you can't plant until fall because then it's cooling off, and those crops can do well because they don't get snow and they don't get really bad cold temperatures down there. Yeah. My daughter's rabbits love them too, but we've also found out that we can't give them the Swiss chard or the rainbow chard every day. We got to mix it up. Give them rainbow chard one day, give them carrots and carrot tops another day, lettuce another day, and then back to the rainbow chard. Got to keep things broken up for their diet, because the chard itself is not good for a steady diet for rabbits. And if I get the alfalfa growing out in the big field next year, they'll have plenty of food there as well. All right, Glenn says clearing now, then it's hot season things. Okay. Yeah, my wife and I were talking the last time she was up here, about last month. Yeah, I think it was the 12th to the 19th of August, and she suggested, she wanted to check, see if I'd taken her other suggestion was to write down stuff. I showed her a little journal I've been keeping for the garden, and she goes, plant other things. Start mixing it. We need to know what's going to go on, because when she moves up here, she wants to be able to plant stuff we know we're going to get a good crop, a good harvest off of. Yeah, Kaylin, you get snow and stuff there too. Here, it's going to be a short fall season. Actually, as cool as it's been here, and it's been unseasonably cool the latter half of August, and projected here. It's like today's was not today. This is that one's off. Okay, so today's was 78 was the high. Tomorrow's 75. Labor Day, Monday, the high is 66. That's cooling off here. And then what have after? So we also have tonight is slight chance of rain and thunderstorms, then a chance of showers and thunderstorms after midnight. Some storms could produce gusty winds and heavy rains, mostly cloudy, blah, 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 blah. So, and then tomorrow morning is, tomorrow is slight chance of rain before 3, slight chance of showers and thunderstorms after 3 p.m. Okay, and then some storms producing winds and gusty winds and heavy rain. And then Saturday night is 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly after midnight. Sunday, 70% chance of rain. Sunday night, 90% chance of rain. Labor Day, 90% chance of rain. Monday night, 60% chance of rain. Tuesday is 20%, and then it clears up. That is not normal since 2016. We started buying properties up here, of that happening in September. Usually they don't get rains and stuff until October. So when I was out at the city office yesterday, I stopped by there and talked to Guy. His name's actually Guy, the city maintenance guy, and Robin, the city city clerk. And they were both hearing. We heard it's supposed to be a really cold, snowy winter, and you go, no, it's supposed to be a warmer than usual but snowy winter. And I heard that it was supposed to be warm, wet, rainy winter. Not so much, we'll get snow and stuff. And the guy goes, yeah, I remember about 9-10 years ago we had a really wet, rainy winter, but it was really cold. So it would rain and freeze, and it would stay frozen, then it would start raining and freezing. He said they had, on some of the streets around there, they had ice like 6 to 9 inches thick. So we'll have to see. If it's warm enough where it keeps thawing out and keeps melting the ice, and we get the rain, that'll be good for the ground water level. Hey, Courtney. Courtney's in the house. Kaylin says Tuesday, 40% chance there. Sunday, 85% chance, thunderstorms for the 10th. Yeah. And what did Glenn say? He's leaving? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I know. Courtney is, okay. I'm having an allergic reaction to something. My feet and hands are really bad. Ooh, not good, Courtney. Yeah. So, like I know Courtney and Dustin were putting in a bunch of either peas or beans they're putting in on the other ones to get them going, and a boatload of carrots. So, okay, so Courtney's going to be the one is sliding out because of her allergic reaction. And I mean, so they had, they've already been planting stuff there for theirs. And if I could have gotten all these things prepped while my wife was still here, they probably she probably would have me go to the store to finish getting some stuff to top off soil for them and get all of the IBC totes planted out there. But I just kind of want to get some of them going, find out what is going to grow well here. Now, in that prepping stuff here, I was going to do something, but I was talking to the people up at Town and Country Nursery, and they said probably better to wait until the spring to do it, because I now have 4 IBC totes that I can move around with the pallet jack sitting out on the driveway, and I can move those into the shop so they don't get so cold. And now that I have natural gas here, I can run a natural gas line out into the shop and put a small shop heater out there to keep temperatures above freezing in the shop. And they was asking about is it too late to plant some fruit trees in some of these IBC totes where I can move them in where they won't get frozen and stuff. They said, if the shop's nice and warm and everything, it should be fine, but probably better to start it out early in the spring, and when they first get their trees in. That way, by the time next winter rolls around, they'll be totally set in the tubs, have a lot of roots in there, strong roots in there, and they'll be able to survive just fine. So planning for a fall garden is something like I wasn't used to before. And now I'm just trying to, experiment and try to get some stuff going on so I can see what I can do here. So what are you guys planting? Anybody planting in their fall garden? And let me, what we got here? We got 8 people in here now. Yeah, that's what things got totally screwed up. I didn't get a chance to post this, the link to this, or get this thing scheduled early this morning. And so I guess a lot of people didn't get notifications. They didn't see that it was an upcoming event until just before I went live. So there is the link. Glenn or Kaylin or Brenda or anybody else there wants to come on up, and let me pin that there. And so, yeah, and for anybody else that's just on the side there, if you're not a normal, if I don't know who you are, I'm not going to bring you up on your first time in here. I want to see people first. Oh, wrong one there. Yeah, I just got done spending a whole bunch of from about 1:30 till 7:40 with the grandkids across the street, because my daughter was working today. So, hey Sarah, glad to have you around. The one of the things, I don't know if everybody's heard about this, what YouTube is doing now. They this is what the rumor is going on out there, and I've heard it from several channels. Said they got some sort of notification from this on live streams. If the people watching don't make a comment and don't do the thumbs up, YouTube is counting them as a bot and not going to give the host channel the watch time for it. So, oh no, sorry about that, Brenda. Oh, ooh. And so, like several other channels that are talking all the time, is if you're lurking's fine, but at least please make a comment, say hi, and that way the algorithm goes, okay, yeah, someone's still there. So yeah, but Yeah, it's interesting. I'm still trying to find out. I'm asking some of the people around here what they're planting for a fall garden. Most of them don't. Some of them, or they do what they're planting: radishes, beets, carrots, peas, and a whole different variety of peas. And there was something else there. Some are doing stuff like the daikon radishes and kohlrabi. Yeah, how to pronounce it. They do some of that. So check something over here. Got some. Sorry, I had another message pop up over here. So let me reply back to this guy here. I'm not doing multiple tasking here because I've been across the street with the grandkids. There we go. So yeah, it's this, like I said, this is going to be an interesting fall for me. First time I'm doing a garden, a fall garden, that is. So is anybody putting anything about? I'm just scrolling back and make sure. Okay. Hey, Alicia, how's it going? And I got to get with Lewis. It's the Marshmallow Man. Evidently, he's grown. He's got. I think they said he does it indoors. His pomegranates has a couple pomegranate trees he's growing indoors. So that'll be something that my wife is definitely interested in because she has a pomegranate plant down there, a tree, bush, whatever. And this year, I mean, it was just the spring when I was down there, it was just absolutely loaded with pomegranates. I mean, she was bracing it up all over to keep it, and they were getting huge. And so what's that, Hope Channel? Well, you can put comments. You can channel owners can reply to comments. In fact, they're encouraged to reply to comments and if the people reply back again, then they can see it's not a bot. But so yeah, that's what it's just that YouTube is saying, hey, if during the live, if you're not commenting, or you don't make a comment during the entire live you're watching, we're going to count you just as a watch bot and not count your hours. Oh yeah, I mean, I took her. There's a product here that we have in Idaho they don't have down there in California. The company headquarters is in Boise. It's called Cowgirl manure, and a Cowgirl dairy manure compost, and I have it listed on it, woman-owned company, and it's they sell only in Idaho, and they get it from all the dairies around, and there's a lot of dairies over on the west side of the state, and so I took I think I took about 10 bags of it. About 10 bags, so 1 cubic foot bags, to my wife, and she put one of those bags around the pomegranates last fall, and this spring it just went absolutely bonkers. Okay, Brenda's planning on some Swiss chard, carrots. Oh, garlic is the other one. Garlic is the other one I got to try to get going. I got to pick up some some garlic sets to see if I can get some garlics to go over to winter over and to do what they're supposed to do up here. Last year, with that polar vortex, it was so friggin' cold. I've overwintered onions before, in the IBC totes, so not down up in the raised IBC totes. And they've done fantastic. This year, I had a whole bunch of them out there to winter over. They all died. It froze so friggin' hard that, all the manure in there couldn't generate enough heat to keep the ground from freezing solid. And then the onions all froze and ruptured, so. Oh, and beets and turnips. Yeah. And one of the plants I got to figure out is, I know some people have talked about turnips. Some have talked about the daikon radishes. And there's something else they've talked about as using as a substitute for potatoes in stews. So that's one of the things I got to figure out this spring and see if get some of those going. I hadn't before because they've for the past 3 or 4 years they've done just fine. This time, of course, we haven't had temperatures getting down into the minus 28s and the minus 30s like we did this year. But all my IBC totes that are outside, on the one side has dirt up against it, on some of them up to the top, and others are about halfway up because I'm using it as a retaining wall. Have you seen the video where I got the different height IBC totes? So they've got at least 18 inches of dirt against the one side. And so, and that dirt now has a bunch of straw on top of it. So that is, and I've been rototilling straw in and got more straw on top of it. And so what I may do is see about getting a dozen or so bales of straw and pile it on the north side of the totes to give it a little buffer zone there for that as well. Yeah, I've thought. Oh, yeah, and I've thought about. I'm going to have to get some of the IBC totes. We got to decide which ones we want to do it because my wife and I decided we're not going to put them directly in the ground because, like Howie says, they'll just spread everywhere. So we're going to contain it in a couple of the IBC totes and see how they do. Because those are, what you don't harvest, anything breaks off, it grows up the next year and just keeps going. But yeah, there's I when I first put this on the thing, I figured, Corky will be fine. She'll be up here. Some other people come up. Corky's got an allergic reaction, and I'm just fine. I'm doing more reading here when I can, and it's like there is so much more to a fall garden difference than a spring garden. So next year's fall garden will be a lot better. And I did find out from my wife this time that the area that I'd set aside for her on the end of the house for her food forest isn't nearly as big as what she thinks that we're going to need. And it's like, oh, so I need to go almost all the way over to the fence? And she goes, maybe. I'm like, yes, that's less lawn to mow. And I can just bring in some good topsoil and rototill it in with the grass and bring it up. And I bring in a couple of truckloads of manure and get the soil prepped up for next spring. And then she can figure out what trees she wants to plant. We can start planting the trees next spring and start getting the food forest going, starting with the trees first. The thing is, too, I do have a bunch of the sections of the IBC totes that are about, I guess about 16 inches tall, where I cut the IBC tote in thirds, and I use the top half inside the cage for one, and the bottom half inside the cage. In the middle, it's like, not doing it. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those sections at least, and for the Jerusalem artichokes, if I find out how deep they go, if they will not go deep, if they won't send roots more than 16 inches down and come up the other side of these things. We'll just stick that down in the ground and use that as a barrier in the food forest to keep, so we can have the sunchokes, Jerusalem artichokes out there growing, but they won't take over the whole thing. Hey, Shawnee, how's it going? You're getting unusual heat over the next week. I'm getting over the next week. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 days of rain coming, and the highest temperature in the next week gets up to 77. Other ones, highs near 66. Labor Day high is 59. Sunday, the high is 77 on Sunday, but I'm not sure it's going to get that high with if all the rainstorms come in. So yeah, it's some parts of the country are getting hit with heat. Others are getting hit with cold. Some are just getting, where they normally would have water are getting nothing, and others are getting drenched. So this is definitely a weird year. And it has nothing to do with mankind's impact on the weather. The sun is acting up. We're approaching solar maximum. So that'll be in a couple of years. We'll have solar max. It's an 11-year cycle. And so we got a couple of years to go before we hit it. Yeah, it's trying to time things right is just bonkers. I've heard complaints from a bunch of other people in town too. But you do the best you can do. So on the IBG totes that I have that are mobile and I'm going to put in the shop, I was thinking about just leaving them out all winter long and let them, the rain and snow and stuff go through and help it, settle down and stuff. So in the spring, before I plant, I can add more material to it, so the trees don't sink. They're up high. I'm thinking about possibly, putting when we start getting really cold, move into the shop and put the shop heater, the gas heater, natural gas heater over there, and if it warms it up enough to plant I know lettuces like it cold. Spinach. Spinach was the other one I was going to try to get going here in some of the IBC totes, see how long it'll go. But get some spinach and stuff growing indoors in the shop. And I move it into the one section where I was storing firewood, since I'm not storing firewood because I got natural gas. I still got firewood, but I'm not storing it indoors. And I can actually put the grow lights out there and run them only during the nighttime when the electrical rate is lower. We're on a 2-tier rate from 11 p.m. to 8 a.m. is super cheap, and everything else is super expensive. So I may try doing that, putting some grow lights out there over the spinach after it's growing up, and it's it's tall enough where it's not going to get leggy on me when I put the grow lights on it. But I'm really interested to see how the short stuff sunflowers do this this fall out there. I know they're not going to get total big because they need full sun. They're getting more than 8 hours a day. They're getting closer to 10 or 12 hours a day right now. Ideal temperatures 60 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, we definitely got that going on. And 7 to 14 days sprouting. They sprouted in 3 days. The seeds with chitinum, sprouted in 3 days. And 2 days. They sprouted in 2 days. I planted them, and then a day and a half later, they came through. They broke through. Heads up to 8 inches wide. Says start indoors 2 to 3 weeks before last frost. But it doesn't say, doesn't give a time on it from, froze. Doesn't give a harvest time on it. Now the Wando P said Sprouts in 10 to 30 days. They were sprouting in 2 days. Ideal temps 45 degrees to 80 degrees. That's what's going on here. Frost hardy, yes. Minimum full sun 6 to 12 hours. Yes, it's getting that. And doesn't say what the when to expect to be able to harvest. It just says sow in place very early spring, 4 to 6 weeks ahead of last frost. So these you plant in the ground before the last frost. Doesn't say indoors, but I did do on these. Yeah, all the green is washed out here. The Wando peas, WANDO. I got 12 of them in the 4-inch cups, and they're popping loose. And so I'm going to see how those go, and then I may plant some of those in one of the totes that I'm going to move in to the shop. Hey, Laura, how's it going? And so if you guys haven't been following Hedgehog's Homestead, oh man, the Amish boys they have working on their shop there are moving along fast. I mean, it's like, dang, whatever they're paying, it's well worth it as fast as those guys are going. Oh man. So anyways, I just was looking to find out what other people. Oh wait, Shawnee. Okay, hang on here. I missed stuff here, jabbering away here. So Shawnee has radishes, kohlrabi. Okay, yeah, that's what my daughter wants to plant over here. Some bunching onions. Oh, during the polar vortex, when it froze everything in the IBC totes, I had a 30-gallon barrel that I'd cut in half from top to bottom, turned on its side, had the bunching onions in there. I figured, and I went out there, and there's covered with snow. I go, all right, they're dead. They're the only thing that survived, in that polar vortex. And that was sitting up on top of one of the IBC totes I didn't have anything planted in. And it survived. And I took it on my first trip to California this spring. I took it there, and my wife says they're going absolutely bonkers there too. So the bunching onions are really, really cold hardy. Kale is something else I got to look at. I'm not sure if I have any kale. I've been buying stuff. Broccoli. I'm not sure if I want to try broccoli now, or if I was going to try broccoli, I probably should have planted it 2 weeks ago. My wife is looking at different type beets. She's experimenting with beets there to find out which type of beet she likes. And when she tells me what type she likes, then I'll get some seeds for them and plant them up here. Yeah. And let's see here. Brenda says, all right, kept beets and spinach growing all winter by covering them with straw and putting plastic over them. The snow didn't even hurt them. Cool. Bok choy. My daughter likes to do bok choy. I'll see if she wants to use one of the IBC totes out here to put some bok choy in. Yeah. Back down to the bottom. There we go. So, anyways, yeah, there's some other stuff here. I keep on finding more and more winter plants and stuff. And what I'm probably going to wind up doing is some of the stuff like the kale, the broccoli. The broccoli, I'm probably going to try starting early indoors and get it out before the last frost, several weeks before the last frost, and use the wall of water to protect them like I did the tomatoes 2 years ago. It kept the tomatoes alive, you know, even through a snowstorm. So Brenda's going to carrot. Not Brenda. Laura's going to do some carrots. Hey, Storms, how's it going? So yeah, this is, you know, trying to do a fall garden has opened up a whole nother aspect of gardening for me. And if I get stuff to work, some of it to work here, my wife will be a lot happier. And I say, hey, this stuff works here, so we can plan on doing a fall garden a little more intensely next year, and take advantage of the frost blankets and stuff like that to keep them going. What I would love to do is set up on some of the IBC totes. Where I got the tall IBC totes and a couple of low ones in between, I'm going to have to put some PVC pipe between or on the top, so it, you know, lines up on the top, so I can just drape plastic up and over, and it'll be like a little mini greenhouse, which will help. We'll see how that helps stuff go, and then it'll be easy. I just lift it up on the one side, and I can harvest stuff. That's going to be an experiment too. I'm going to try this winter here because I got a couple of them where there's just one plant. I mean, one IBC tote between two tall, one short one between two tall ones. I've got a couple where there's two short ones between two tall ones, so I can, you know, extend out. I may have to put some bracing on it, but we'll have to see if I can make that work. Hey, Lori, Prairie Rider is in the house. Yeah, there's yeah, okay, so besides your potatoes, onions, and garlic, failed spectacularly. Failed as a garlic last year. It failed miserably. Okay. Yeah, watercress. All right. If it's cold hardy, I'll try some of that. I used to grow watercress in the filter system for my koi pond in California, and in the heat of the summer, oh man, that stuff was uncontrollable. Because it was filtering all the nitrates and nitrites out from the fish poo as it went through the filter, and it had all that cold water flowing across its roots because it was planted just I had a lava rock filter, and they were rooting down through the lava rock. Oh man, they loved that. But lamb's lettuce, cool. But yeah, that's something I'm gonna have to I may look at it on the watercress. I mean, I know my mom used to love doing watercress, and she'd harvest it, and she'd do watercress and canned chicken, sometimes canned tuna, the good stuff, canned chicken breast, and make a chicken salad sandwich with the watercress in it. Oh, she loved that. So anyway, I'm really interested to see how those Waldo peas do during the winter time, how far into the winter they will survive, and whether or not they will overwinter if I, put straw on them and put plastic over it to keep the snow from getting in there and getting the soil too wet where it can freeze solid. And so it's going to be interesting to see what I can make stuff do. Let's see, anything else? Okay, we're hitting about the hour mark here. Let me pull something up over here. And okay, so Monday is Labor Day. Not sure if I'm going to go live. If I go live, I probably won't know until around noontime or between noon and 3 my time. And that would give me 5 hours before I go live at 8 my time. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go live or not. But on Tactical Tuesday for Gray Man Prepping, The topic is survival time 30 hours a day. And I'm going to be explaining what that is. And hopefully, I'll get the point across of time management on that one. Next Friday here, we're going to talk about cooking. What new ways are you learning to cook? And that's been on the schedule for a while. But in some of the comments that were done over, was it last night before last, on David Lynn Prepper Principles, we were talking about, all the, planting different foods and stuff. And Uncle Al was over there, and he was mentioning about, finding the plants that grow naturally in your area, and trying them out to find out which ones you actually like, and then learning to cook them, because sometimes learning ways to cook plants is the difference between having a very bad experience and traumatizing you for the rest of your life on something, or loving it. Like, my mom could not cook Brussels sprouts to save her life. About every time it was partially, it was scorched or burnt in the pan. Back then they didn't have these nice little baskets you could put in it and hold the vegetables off the bottom, and you put your the water in there. It would help steam them and stuff. And she was always burning it. She tried to do butter. She'd burn it. None of my brothers and sisters will touch Brussels sprouts to this day. It's just so. They were talking about different ways of doing sautéing them, or doing a little quick saute on them in garlic butter, and then putting the pan in the oven and cooking it for, I think they said 20 minutes at 350 degrees. And it's supposed to work out great. So there's going to be some experiment to see if I can overcome my traumatization and aversion to Brussels sprouts. And CB is in the house. Hey, how's it going? And so there's, so next Friday we're going to talk about new ways we can learn to cook. And one of the ways we're talking about is cast iron. Just to give you a heads up on it, and not necessarily the cast iron you're thinking about. So that's what's coming up for next Friday. And so I still got a couple more. I got about a month's worth of topics here. If you have any topics you'd like to see discussed either here on Camppatton Family Compound or on Gray Man Prepping, drop me an email at camppattonfamilycompound@gmail.com, and I will add that topic to the list. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up now, and I'm going to have to be going back through the chat here and picking out some of the ideas here for watercress, kale, some of the other ones. The kohlrabi. Cabbage is one my grandmother and mother would never do cabbage, because when they were both little, they had it till they were sick of it. But may I talk to my wife to see if we want to try growing cabbage, and also some see, I may throw a couple broccoli seeds in just to see what they do. All right, folks. I'm going to get out of here. Everyone, stay happy, stay safe. Think about what you can plant. Some areas are still warm and you can't plant fall cold weather crops yet. Start planting it out. And that was the other thing. If it gets too cold for you, check out some of those little indoor planter things with this kit things with the lights, the water tray, and everything else in them. I know Modern Refugee did some stuff indoors on that, and during the wintertime, he had several harvests of lettuce and some other plants too. He got big, harvested them, planted another section, and so he was having vegetables during the wintertime from one of those little tray setup kits. So, all righty, folks, thanks for coming in, and hopefully I will see. Tomorrow, Saturday, 10 o'clock Eastern, I'll be doing another Survival Saturday and bringing that back for Gray Man Prepping. And that'll be tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific time, filling in between. And we'll be talking about some essentials of prepping for not just preppers, but for homesteaders as well. All right, folks, take care, and I will see you around. Got to give it a few seconds here so it doesn't chop it off.